Hi, I'm Joseph, and welcome to part 6 of Chapter 1, Eiji, Wolf of the Ninth Avenue. So, as always, we'll begin with the summary, then move on to the analysis. So, part 6 begins with a quick summary of part 4. So, as a quick reminder, part 5 did not center around Eiji and his new linkage strap whatsoever. So, part 6 opens up with a quick summary where Eiji got his linkage strap. He got it from the professor, he got it from DDL, the company that the professor runs and conducts his research. Then after that, there's a quick explanation that Eiji did indeed get his beef bowl with his hot egg. He ate it in front of the station, and after that, he went home. It's explained, so this is where we get some background information about Eiji. He lives on his own. It seems like he is an orphan. I'm not going to lie, the translation makes that a little bit hard to understand. I did need to reach out to the Digimon community just to confirm, because again, the translation is a little bit wonky. It kind of implies that he's saying hello to his mom. But what I believe what's occurring is that when he comes home, he rings a bell. The bell belongs to a Buddhist statue. And in front of this Buddhist statue, there's LED candles and also tablets. I'm going to assume that's maybe pictures of some kind, but tablets with a tablet for each of his family member, his mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and even one for his pet. We'll discuss that at a later point because that's really great characterization for Eiji, or it might just be frivolous information, but we'll come back to that during the analysis. After that, it's explained that he doesn't like a incense because it might cause a fire. For whatever reason, even though he ate dinner already, he sits down alone at the dinner table again. But I don't think he's going to eat. He just sits down, and while he's sitting down, he looks at his. Oh, by the way, he lives in a very small. Excuse me, I do have it written right here. A one-room apartment with a loft connected to it, and there's it has. I already explained the furniture style Buddhist altar. It's described as furniture style. I looked it up on Google. I believe it's just your traditional Buddhist statue. I might be wrong about that though. And yes. So continuing forward, give me a quick second. Let me look at my summary notes. So once he sits down, he looks at his linkage strap and he smiles to himself. He's excited for the possibility that's going to occur for him, or for the future possibilities that will occur for him. Um, It's explained that expert code crackers are really great at breeding Digimon due to the fact that code crackers they utilize behavior patterns. That's only one aspect of breeding Digimon. EG really doesn't have experience with raising Digimon, although he does have three Tyrannomon. It's explained that he only used basic programming skills, and again, that's only one aspect of raising Digimon. So because of this, he does he does seek out assistance on Grim, the social media network that's part of this world of Digimon, and before he starts looking into it, he does some light research and he does feel determined because he wants to meet the professor's expectations. He knows that the professor wants EG to utilize the linkage strap to gather information about the digital world and to gather information about the relationship that he could develop with the linkage strap and with Logomon specifically. So he's determined to make sure that he does assist the professor in the research that he's looking for. Um, he has no experience in raising Digimon. I've already explained the Tyrannomon aspect. He's also explained that his D-Dock is outdated, although it's easy to find blueprints and to create parts for it. His D-Dock is completely homemade. Despite that, though, he does have some materials, some complete devices from Grim. Grim does have a marketplace where they sell, give me a second, where they sell special enclosure units and just complete units in addition to that. And then once again, EG looks at his linkage strap and smiles once more. Um, he believes that Logomon's going to be a good luck charm for him, and he understands that he needs to take care of it. Though he's a little bit conflicted. Should he be wearing the linker strap all day, 24 hours? Thankfully, it's explained that the vital bracelet is antibacterial, and it's also, pardon me, not the vital bracelet, the linker strap is antibacterial, and it's also waterproof. So he has no qualms about taking showers with it or just keeping it on times. After this, there is give me a quick second. Yeah, so after this, there's a small page break. It's explained that that EG has now spent 2 to 3 days with the linkage strap and with Logomon. Logomon is growing up fast. At this point, it's explained the different Digimon evolutionary stages. So I'm going to use the Japanese stages, not the dub name, just because I don't want them to get them conflicted or get the any audience members, any listeners confused. And also because I recently have been rewatching Digimon, the animated series, subbed, not dubbed. I've watched it subbed with Adventure 1, Adventure 2, Tamers, Frontier. I'm currently watching Digimon Savers. I probably will continue watching everything subbed, but also will watch it dubbed if it ever does come out dubbed. For example, like Digimon Adventure 20 or colon, that a dubbed version will be coming out eventually. I haven't seen that yet, but I will be watching it subbed first. I've seen Adventure Try and Last Kuzina as well, both sub and dubbed. Anywho, but I'm going to stick to the Japanese term. So, in case it's explained that Digimon have evolutionary stages, they begin at the baby stage, baby 1, baby 2, child, adult, perfect, and then ultimate. Logomon though is peculiar because he's not at the baby level, but rather he's at the child level. Despite this though, Eiji does confirm that Logomon is still just a quote unquote baby and he's still learning. Excuse me guys, my cat's in front of my notes. He does post questions on Grim looking for assistance about raising Logomon, but he's very general. He's very vague when he's seeking information. He only states he's looking for help to raise a dog-like Digimon. He doesn't specify the professor's name, nor does he specify Logomon. He does start developing some regrets. He feels like maybe the professor is asking too much for him. He starts thinking about crossing the yoke, and when he starts realizing that he wants to cross that yoke. So again, what is crossing that yoke? In part 5, it's explained that crossing the yoke, it seems to be where the individual, a Digimon tamer or human partner, is able to access their Digimon partner's senses and actually be present with their Digimon. We don't have much information about that quite yet, but it's looking like I already forgot, not that I forgot her name, but she was only introduced. But so far, the only two individuals who could break the yoke is Satsuki and also Judge. Both new characters introduced in part 5. But Eiji starts thinking about that, and after his little brief moment of self-doubt, he kind of gets determined again because he does want to see the digital world and the connection between the real world and the digital world. And then he starts thinking about raising Logomon again because someone responds to his message, and this individual explains that when it comes to raising Digimon, it's always best to raise them in packs. And if the user has multiple Digimon, go ahead and put them together. Unfortunately, in Eiji's excitement, because he does have 3 Tyrannomon with him, just like with the Vital Bracelets, it turns out that it has the capacity to hold 4 Digimon. Currently, Eiji only has Logomon, so he makes the choice to transfer from his D-Dock into his Linker Strap the other Tyrannomon. But unfortunately, again, because of his excitement, he doesn't realize that the message has a ending. He doesn't read the whole message, and the ending portion explains that one should only put dog-like Digimon with other Digimon once they've been disciplined. In fact, since that's the end of it, let's go ahead and just read that verbatim. So Eiji thinks to himself, if you have more than one Digimon, they will play with each other and learn as they do. And Eiji thinks to himself, I see, so you should keep a number of them together, strength in numbers. Eiji quickly connects Tyrannomon's dock on the Digimon, Eiji quickly connects Tyrannomon's dock to the Digimon Linker. The latest model Digimon Linker has more than enough capacity and processing power. He could keep Logomon with the Tyrannomon, but Eiji, in his excitement, didn't read the rest of the answers. Some Digimon are like dogs, and that they are obsessed with the ranking of their pack. It's important that you discipline them first, and then trouble came about several days later. And that's how part 6 ends. Really kind of a exciting ending to part 6. Makes one excited for part 7 that will be coming out tomorrow. So let's go ahead and move on to the analysis. So right off the bat, let's just begin with the wonky translation. So the reason why I said that if Eiji has these tablets for his family, including his dog, that says a lot about his character, but we're not entirely sure until we have a official translation, or rather, I know the machine translation is the official translation, I should say instead. We won't know for sure until we have a translation that's accurate or a translation that reflects the Japanese language accurately. The reason why I say that's because let's start with the positive aspect first. If Eiji has a tablet for all of his family members, his mom, his dad, and his grandpa and his grandpa, his extended family, that's pretty cool. That tells us that Eiji is very family oriented. I'm not completely aware of Japanese culture, but as an American, typically lapse of judgment, not the extended family, the immediate family, the nuclear family is where we have the closest connections with when it comes to the familial unit. When I say nuclear, I mean mom, dad, and any siblings, right? Typically, the grandpa and grandpa are not part of that nuclear family; they're part of the extended family. So again, I'm not well versed with Japanese culture, so I'm not sure if typically grandparents are revered or shown respect in addition to the parents. That's a pretty cool detail. Not only that, but the fact that Ichi has a tablet for one of his dogs, that's also a pretty good detail. But with that, before I continue with the negative, so that's great characterization because it really shows us that Eiji is an empathetic, sympathetic character. He's able to connect emotionally with humans, but also with animals. And I think that's going to be really important because he's going to be working with Digimon, right? And he's discovering that Digimon, they're not just they're not just programs, basic programs. They're artificial intelligence with their own individualism. So let's go to the negative though. So the reason why we need to see, or rather I need to see the official translation or a more accurate translation is because if it's not Eiji's agency, he's not putting these tablets because he's choosing to, but rather it's just out of obligation. While that does still portrays Eiji in a positive light, it does reduce some of the characterization just because now it's less of his agency and more of an obligation. And then not only that, but let me just quickly read it, the translation itself. And then so hello, I'm home. Hello, dad, mom, grandpa, and grandma. And then there's the dog too. Just the wording of that sounds a little bit like, the dog is a part of it, kind of like offhand, wasn't part of the family, quote unquote. But again, that might just be because of the wonky translation. And then I'm going to go down a little bit as well. Give me a quick second. Or let me see. Here we go. I decided to use Google search on the page. Family cards are placed in the tablets of his family members. There's even one for a dog he used to have for some reason. So it's just that, for that some reason, that wording, that language just, again, takes away some of Eiji's agency. So what does that for some reason imply? Did Eiji just do it out of obligation? He was putting up tablets for his family members and he realized to himself, oh, I used to own a dog. I'll go ahead and do one for my dog as well. All right, so again, although I'm hoping that the characterization at this part was purposefully that he chose to have tablets for his parents, his grandparents, and his dog. I'm hoping that for the some reason, that portion for the some reason too is just a translation issue, or just the Japanese states something more specific. So continuing on again, I think we're getting some more textual evidence. And so I keep saying this, I feel like in every video, but Eiji's determination, it seems like Eiji is an individual who's willing to put in the effort when he wants to. And that's a great aspect to keep in mind because again, it seems like Eiji, although he's a little bit, doesn't have a clear goal at the moment, when he does have a plan, when he does have a mission, quote unquote, or a job for a client, he becomes much more focused. And we see this, we see more textual evidence about this with each chapter, with each part. And I think that says a lot about Eiji's character. It's not that he's aimless, it's that currently he doesn't know specifically where he wants to go in his life. That's what it seems like. That's what I'm deducing. But I'm really appreciating the fact that Eiji's being willing to still do something with the tools that he has currently. Sorry, my cat's in front of my notes. The fact that he starts feeling, so after the page break, when he starts feeling a little bit apprehensive, he starts regretting that he accepted this job from the professor. I actually really like that too. You might be thinking, whoa, doesn't that imply that he's not determined? I actually really feel like that emphasizes his human side as a protagonist. I don't know about you guys, when I do have a personal goal, although I am I do have a drive to complete that goal, sometimes because of obstacles that come up or unexpected plans that prevent me from completing that goal efficiently or as quickly as I want it to, that could put me in a little bit in a downer mood. That could make me feel a little bit not as encouraged to complete what I want to do, right? But at that point, I have the choice. Do I let those negative emotions overcome me, or do I create a new game plan create new tactics or refine what I was already doing, right? And we see that Eiji, despite feeling despondent a little bit, he regains his composure. And again, the fact that he does light research when looking into how to raise Logomon, and then he also reaches out to look for help, that's really great characterization for Eiji's character. That shows that he's willing to work as a community, he's willing to work as a team, although he's looking for assistance from strangers. The fact that he's able to do light research, and when he can't find the answers, he's willing to actually sit down, create a post, and seek out help. That's a great detail for Eiji's character. I really do appreciate that. Makes me wonder if Eiji is going to continue being a lone wolf, or towards the middle of the towards the middle of the story, or as the story progresses, Eiji would start working with a team. Typically in Digimon properties, the protagonists do not work alone. Thinking right now, I don't think there's any property where the protagonist works alone. Animated, I know in terms of written material, there is a manga called V-Tamers where the main character, I believe for the most part, only works with his partner. So maybe since Sinkers is a written story, not an animated story, it's going to be going back to that individual protagonist and forsaking the protagonist working as a group. Or maybe it will be like the animated series and continue. The protagonist will continue working as a group. Either way, though, if he works alone, if he works as a team, I think Eiji will be able to do what he wants to do because he's showing that he has the capacity to do so. Going back, so I also do seem to like we're getting some characterization. It seems like Eiji is not an affluent individual. He might be working class a little bit. The fact that he's living in a very small apartment room with a small loft connected to it. The fact that he's doing side jobs and he's not always able to eat, or he's not struggles, but he worries about being able to eat for a specific day. I think that tells us that Eiji doesn't come from a place of affluence. He has to work for what he has, and I'm looking forward to what else this implies for his character. Just because typically, I think this is our first protagonist in Digimon where he has no family, where he's just by himself. So we'll see that anything will come from that. I'm not gonna lie, that might just be an aspect. So when it comes to writing stories, that's usually a stereotype. Everyone thinks about it. Most popular stories, the protagonist, either they're an orphan, or they're living with their uncle/aunt, or they're not living with their parents. They have some pseudo parents. But still, I don't mind that this is a stereotype because again, it's cool that Digimon Seekers is going down a different path with its storytelling versus the animated series. So again, I'm really looking forward to what else they do with this. So I have two last bits I want to discuss. We'll discuss the more meta aspect and then the more analytical aspect connected to the story. I'm really loving the meta-ness or the meta nature that's going into the linker strap and the linker strap and Eiji versus the vital bracelet and the consumer in the outside world. I know it's going to sound a little bit nerdy, but I don't know about you guys, but if you guys have a vital bracelet, I myself, when I first got mine, and even I got mine December 27th, even sometimes today, we're now in April, sometimes I'll just look at my digital partner and it'll just make me smile a little bit. Like, he'll be, because I'm active, he'll be active with me. If I'm exercising, they're exercising with me, or if I'm just idle, they're idle with me. Again, I am a big Digimon fan, so maybe that's a factor into it as well. But the fact that Eiji looks at his linker strap and he smiles and he feels like he has a special relationship with both the linker strap and the Logomon, as nerdy and as a little bit immature as it sounds, I totally understand and relate with that feeling. And when I read that, I did smile a little bit. Actually, I like it so much, I'm gonna just go ahead and read it. Give me a quick second, everyone. Thank you for your patience. If Professor Ryuzenji expects that much from me, I have no choice but to give it my all. He's never been so excited in his life. But anyway, as long as he follows the professor's lead, there should be no issues. Excuse me, that's not the part that well, that's one aspect that I wanted to read, but there's another aspect. Excuse me, everyone. Here we go. Well, I have a Digimon linker, so there's no need to rush. He's talking about his D-Dock and the fact that he has to repair it because Professor Ryuzenji states that there's an issue with his memory, his D-Dock's memory. Look at the new Digimon linker wrapped around his arm. Eiji smiles as if he just remembered it. This Logomon is like a good luck charm for Eiji. He can't help but think, and he needs to take good care of it. So again, as silly as it sounds, that line, I could relate and sympathize with it. Anywho, so the last aspect I want to discuss is the way that this chapter ends, or rather, this part ends. Part six. Part six. Um, some Digimon are like dogs in that they are obsessed with the ranking of their pack. It's important that you discipline them first, and then trouble came about several days later. So I know I haven't really done this, but there is a character profile for some of the characters that's been introduced so far. I haven't really looked at that just because I'm focusing on Digimon Seekers. I am going in a little bit blind. I haven't really looked into outside information. But the reason why I want to share this information is because I think it helps you connect with what I'm about to state, or what I'm thinking is what's going to occur for the future parts. So for Logomon's profile under Digimon Web, it's stated a Dark Beast Digimon presumed to be an experimental prototype Digimon from before Digimon were discovered due to an old-fashioned interface on its forehead. It is said that the deepest part of its Digicore contains data from the Warg of real-world mythology, which can be seen in its capacity for rage beyond that of a typical Rookie. Rookie is the English version for child form. Those who are deceived by its puppy-like appearance and approach it without proper caution may find themselves on the receiving end of a vicious attack. Logomon recognizes those with the ability to control it as its master. Its loyalty is as hard to break as it is to obtain, making it a valuable companion. It shoots flame imbued with magical energy from its mouth with its special move Howling Fire, and bites in a spinning formation using its sharp fangs with Spiral Bite. So the aspect that I want to focus on here, so right off the bat, the minor detail, Eiji notices that Logomon is not at the baby level. He's at the child level, yet despite this, he still has baby-like qualities. Obviously, this is an indicator that Logomon is not a traditional quote-unquote natural Digimon. The reason why Logomon, he's baby-like, but he's not at the baby stage. He's rather at the child stage, is reflective of the fact that he seems to be an experimental Digimon, practically, or maybe even a Digimon made by human scientists, or maybe even specifically made by Professor Ruzenji. I'm sure that will be explained as we continue going ahead with the story, but the part that I really want to focus on is the portion, sorry, I was just looking at my pen, is the portion that states, excuse me, Logomon recognizes those with the ability to control it as its master. Its loyalty is as hard to break as it is to obtain, making a valuable companion. That makes me think maybe, I don't think Logomon is a quote-unquote evil Digimon, but obviously I think that Logomon's going to have some issues that Eiji needs to overcome, and it makes me wonder if one of those issues may be jealousy. So I'm going to get a little bit personal, but when I read Logomon, it makes me think of my own dog, Midnight, a little bit. I love my dog Midnight, but one aspect that I wish that she could change a little bit is that she's a very jealous dog. Thankfully, she's fine with my cats. If my cats go outside, she won't do anything to them. But when I walk Midnight, if she sees other dogs, she gets a little bit wild, and I have to control her. With that being said, though, she's really great with other people. She's a big ham for interacting with other people, and yeah, so it's just with other dogs. So by the end of this part, when it's stated in Eiji's excitement, he doesn't realize that one portion at the end that Logomon needs to be disciplined first, and there's going to be an issue coming up. It makes me wonder that issue is just going to be just because Logomon's a little bit jealous. So again, the linker strap is specifically tied and paired with Eiji. This means no one else can use it. Or maybe I'm just being a little bit too superficial and being too positive, I guess, right? What kind of fight is Logomon going to get into with Tyrannomon? I'm really hoping that Logomon doesn't accidentally erase or kill the Tyrannomon. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. The way that it ends, I really am looking forward to the next part. I do believe that part 7 will also focus on Eiji and Logomon, and we're going to further get more details on how they interact with one another. I'm still curious if Logomon or Digimon in general are able to talk and speak with humans, or if they're a little bit more quote-unquote animal in nature, and that they don't really speak. Or maybe they could communicate via their emotions when they connect. I'm sure we'll get more information about that. So this was part 6 of Eiji, or excuse me, this was part 6 of chapter 1, Eiji Wolf of the Ninth Avenue. If you are reading Seekers, please let me know what your thoughts and opinions are so far. Are you enjoying it as much as I am? What aspects would you want to quote unquote fix? What aspects would you want to refine? Have a prodigious day and take care. Thank you.